Okay, ilab is a program set up by Northwestern University in the States, and this connects students mainly in high school with different research instruments around the world. They have one program for 8th grade students, so some students have chosen to do this, and they are going to be looking at cell phone radiation, how close is too close. In this lab, they are actually going to be exploring how radioactive radiation changes with distance. And they're going to then connect this information that they learn to their cell phone. And the guiding question is, am I frying my brain with my cell phone? Okay, the program is very student-friendly. It tells you what the lab is all about, how the lab equipment works. So in Australia, there's a radioactive strontium sample that emits radiation, and there's also a Geiger counter that detects the radiation. And they have a webcam, so they can actually see their experiment going on. And the program leads the kids through the process. So they do their research, they ask a question, they design their experiment, they do the experiment, then they analyze and interpret the information. The research part of it, there are a number of questions that they're giving, and if you click on the questions, it gives them important background information. And here's a simulation of how the machine that they are going to be operating. They are then guided to set up a good investigative question. What are you trying to find out this lab? And then they write the question. Okay, so this is the radioactivity ilab. Their prediction is as the Geiger counter gets further away, the radioactive material, the radioactivity will decrease. This whole program is free of charge. The students go through the sort of research questions, they design their experiment, they investigate the experiment, and then they analyze the data that they get from them. Okay, so the ilab leads the kids through how to design a good experiment. So they have their research question, and here they're designing their experiment, and we have the equipment here, the Geiger counter and the radioactive strontium, and they have to decide the distances that the Geiger counter is going to be from the strontium, the time of the measurement, the number of trials. And then once they've put these values in, their experiment will start. So right now they are designing the experiment. Okay, we now have our student doing his experiment. The Geiger counter here is on the left. The measurements are shown here. All the measurements will be graphed by the ilab and given to the student to analyze in the next step. So he's doing an experiment in Australia, but working from the ZIS Kiltberg campus. Okay, the student has a graph of the data. He also has a table of the data, and right now he's answering questions to analyze the data. Okay, so one of the students has graphed his radiation, and as you can see here, we have the radiation is very high when the Geiger counter is close to it, but as you move further away from the strontium-90, the radiation gets a lot lower. Okay, so this is graph radiation from the Once the students had their data and they've graphed their data, they had to come to a conclusion for the data and also apply this information to their cell phone. So they could see that when the phone or the strontium-90 is very close, so here about 1.5 centimeters, you get a high level of radiation. But moving the phone to here, this is 9 centimeters away, it makes a huge difference in the amount of radiation received by the Geiger counter. So again, if this was a cell phone, your brain is getting a lot less radiation when your cell phone is moved only 9 centimeters away from your head. So the conclusion they come to from their ilab experiment, they then apply that to how you would use a cell phone. The students then prepared a presentation to show to the class, to show to the other students who didn't do the ilab. They also presented to their parents so that their parents would understand how to use a phone sort of more safely. So this is one example of a student PowerPoint presentation. So they're showing where the lab is in Queensland. They're showing that they worked as a, there's two of them giving presentations. This is the radiation graph of one of the students. This is their ilab results chart. This is the radiation graph from the other student. And then in their conclusion, they put together their data and made suggestions on how you should use your phone in a safe manner. So you have to move your phone only a few centimeters away while it's calling to get less radiation. So try and keep your phone as far away from your brain by using a speaker, by not carrying it on you, or not sleeping with it close to you. So student presentation.